And all I have to say is, drizzle, drizzle.
Cursed be the ground, for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
You can't win, you can't break even, and you can't get out of the game. People keep saying things are gonna change, but they look just like they stay the same. You're getting way over your head, and you only got yourself to blame. You can't win, child. Can't break even, can't get out of the game. I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
All right, you Dusty Kings, Grizzle. And fuck them Cubs, all right? Adric is number one. It's going to be a good stream. Rame Lab, what's going on? Lavris, what's going on? One of my day ones. Adric, what's happening? Play Perry, what's going on? Royal Priest. Emmanuel, what's going on? MPRG, what's going on? Prince, what's happening? LXT, what's going on? Paul Wilson. Say it again, Dusty King. I heard that. What's going on, Toya? What's happening? What's going on up there in the NJ Empire? Baby Smooth, what's happening? He's on hold with the Amazon, man. Ugh. He'll be on hold for a while. Snowman, what's happening? Jay, what's happening? See, Emmanuel says, if U.S., a first world country, collapses, then there's probably nowhere else to hide except a country that's part of the East, right? Basically, it's going to be difficult to tell, because if it collapses, depends on if it's a complete collapse, it's going to pull everything down with it. So you probably want a country that's not as developed, because it doesn't depend on the global connections. Maybe a place like Tanzania or even Uganda. Some places still kind of rural. There are countries that probably don't depend as much on the U.S. Even a place like Nigeria, because Nigeria still has most of its natural resources. So it's going to be pretty uneven. It's trying to predict. It's like trying to predict how fast the rock is going to fall, or how fast the building will collapse. You can't tell. Babu, what's happening? Poseidon, what's going on? Leon, what's going on, man? Terrell, what's going on? Jay, what's happening? Oh, from your Black Studies buddy from Temple. Okay, cool. That's where Dr. T got his master's from, Temple. The Black Mecca, as we call it. Jimmy, what's happening? AJC and Red, what's happening? Hurricane Greg, what's going on? Ignace, what's going on? Michael, what's happening? Spirit of Justice, what's going on? Shannon Green, he just made some fresh guacamole for a fine Friday evening. Okay. What you having with it? Is it guacamole and chips or what? You have a question. Where in the world will World War III happen? Initially, it's probably, well, it's hard to tell now, because there's like 3 or 4 theaters. I would say I would say World War. It's either one or two places, either Ukraine or it's going to be in the Middle East, probably Iran or Gaza, right? Uh, and after that, it's going to happen everywhere. World War III is going to be nuclear. That's why they're avoiding it. So, Adirio, what's going on? Superstar, what's going on? I have a question for you. Oh, for Snowman, who will the Lakers choose as their next head coach? Everybody's saying, what's his name? Hurley. So everybody's saying guacamole and chips. That's not bad. You gonna put cheese on top, or it's just guacamole? Or you got guacamole with the what do they call it? Pico de gallo inside with the with the what is it? The peppers and the onions and the and tomato. Greg, what's going on, man? Greg is gonna be busy this summer, Craig, because this political season is gonna be a mess. James, what's going on? Hey, compassionate, what's happening? All righty, this is your time. All those random questions that you guys like to ask during streams that where it don't fit, this is your place. Usual business. BGS, have you seen or watched the video of a matriarchy running rampant in China? Well, the thing is, it might not be rampant because China's so big. What I'm saying is, you can start to see the shift because they got to get their numbers up. The whole globe is doing this thing, trying to get their numbers up. In fact, somebody sent me something about um, population. So as time permits, and I will look through my history, I will find it and I'll play it because this is something very significant. They're changing their strategy because they thought that there was going to be an infinite growth as far as population, and they found out the exact opposite. So their projections were off. So now they have to reverse field and do things that they hadn't planned on doing before. So if I can't find it, got to go back to my email because it might not be in here, but I'll find it. Man, I got so much, man. If you can, I just show you guys, man. And this is just my history, okay? The stuff I have to look at every day. To show you guys real quick. This is my history, okay? That's why I don't get to read. This is my history. This is just today. Okay, this is just today. Okay, that's my history. YouTube business. Okay. 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 Oh, okay. Why men need 300 times. Okay. All right. I haven't seen that one. Okay. To marry a Chinese girl in the matriarchy, I don't think it's that high, man. If you're gonna marry somebody in a major city, maybe, but most Chinese can't. The wages won't allow that, man. You can't. You basically, they won't have any kids, so they have to go outside of the. They have to go outside of the whatchamacallit. They have to go outside of the city, of the major cities. Anyway, well, we can go ahead and play it since we're here. Do you have a Linux partition? No, I do not. I do not have a Linux partition. I used to, because I used to have to. I was learning lamps. I was learning PHP and lamps and Apache. So I used to have it, but that was years ago. That has to be like 15 years ago. But I don't have one anymore. I wouldn't even have a Linux partition, man. I would just have a separate machine. Linux you can run on a laptop, so I wouldn't put it on a separate machine. I got like 2 laptops, so I would just put it on one of those. Anyhow, oh yeah, the space, on the far side of the moon. It's not the first time. The reason they land on the far side of the moon is because that's where water is, and there's a lot of negative stuff that you avoid by being on the far side. In other words, radiation, heat, and all the other kind of stuff that you would get on the light side. So the far side, there's more water. Okay, there's ice. You can make into water. You don't have the direct solar radiation because you're on the dark side. There's a lot of stuff that you avoid. I forget what Linux I used to use, man. I've used because remember I started playing with Linux in '94, and I think in 2000, I think it's 2002, 2003. It was actually got to be earlier than that. It's got to be 2002. I started playing with it, uh, with Linux and Apache and a SQL Server and all that kind of shit. MySQL and PHP. So I had to have a Linux. Have to have a Linux partition for it. But now I wouldn't even run it. Linux is so light you just run on a laptops are more than capable of actually running Linux. In fact, you can run Linux on a tablet. So Jermaine beaming in, but Linux, I don't know. Linux for me just never took off because unless, well, what is the esoteric meaning that Pisces is a feminine sign? Oh, okay, okay. It's uh, it's just a dialectic. Um, uh, Water and earth are quote unquote feminine, okay, and fire and air are quote unquote masculine, okay, by the elements. So Mother Earth is considered a feminine element. Water is considered a feminine element, and fire and air considered a masculine element because it's more flexible, uh, which goes all the way back to Ptah and um, and the noon. Okay, noon is considered water, right? Okay, if you go back to Egyptian theology, noon is water. Pisces is a water sign, right? It's a water sign. Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio are water signs. And since the noon is feminine, it's a feminine sign. Okay, considered a feminine sign. Okay, it has nothing to do with sex. Okay, it's just attributes. Same thing with Earth, Mother Earth. Okay, it's a foundational thing. It's solid. It's not as flexible. That's Earth. Okay, it doesn't carry as much energy where air and fire do. So that's why it's considered an element. So basically that's where it comes from. If that answers your question. Uh, your thoughts on Fanny Rip being put on hold? She basically what she was used for. They got their conviction that they wanted. So basically, um, she doesn't. She's really not necessary. Yeah, I mean, basically. I don't know. People take too much even though it's there. Okay, and email me, pimp god. I'll send you my course that my teacher that teacher gave us when in our class. I'll send you the course. Um, just I'll send you the book. Let's put it a book for the course. Just email me. But it's positive, negative, and it's a dialectic. That's all it is. So, and people read too much in it. Is it feminine? Sure. But thing is, what does feminine mean? As far as a sign. Pisces. When I go by water signs, stuff like that. I go by the attributes that it carries. Like um, basically, um, fire and air give off energy, and water absorbs energy. Okay, so if you're a water sign, that means you are probably an empath. That means you absorb energy. Okay, like Scorpios and Cancers and 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 Pisces, or they absorb emotional energy. Okay, and that's what they feed off of. The thing is, your sun sign is just part of it. You got to also go look at your moon. So whatever your moon is, okay, you have to look at both of them. You got to really look at all three: your mask, your sun, and your moon. Okay, because 9 times out of 10, people look at their sun and says, "This is what I am," and basically you're missing the other 2/3 of who you are. So, so don't read too much into your sun sign without the other two. And being who you are, man, you should be a Pisces. Pisces is the right sign for your profession. Let's put it that way. Okay. Anyhow, let's go ahead and play this since it was given to me to react on. And this, I'll play a little bit of it. It's like 10 minutes. This guy they called the female Kevin Samuel. So we'll go about 5 minutes of this, if that's cool. Why men need 300,000 minimum to marry a Chinese girl, the matriarchy. And he's talking about, and this is so people think that the gynocracy, as I call it, is a localized phenomenon. It is not. Okay, this is all over the planet. And it basically, in Chinese, is a very heavily patriarchal, authoritarian country. So they, for this to happen, they're fucking going nuts. So they're pretty upset about this. Thoughts on every K being pregnant. Okay. I'm actually probably going to do a standalone on my Black Pill Gnostic page about Ebony K. Williams and her being pregnant. Okay, this is, and she will tell you, this is a it's not even a buzzer beater, right? This is a miracle for her. This is a Hail Mary miracle for her to have a baby. So she failed, for whatever reason, she failed to attract a man of her standard, right? So, and plus, Ebony K. Let's put it this way: Ebony K. Williams is a little bitch. Okay, she is insufferable, and she knows she's insufferable. She can never be with one guy. But it's probably why the white guy didn't marry her, because she's insufferable, and she knows it. So she's gonna be much like her mother. She's replicating her mother's life. Okay, I don't even think she ever knew her father. I don't think so, because she's never talked about him. So I don't think she even knew her father. So all she's known is her single mother and her. All she's doing is replicating herself. She is becoming her mother, and she tried to avoid the family curse. But thing is, you know, what did it say? Buckaroo Banzai would say, "No matter where you go, there you are." In fact, I think I'll make a cut about that. No matter where you go, there you are. She is who she is. She's insufferable. She can't be with nobody. So basically, and she don't want to be alone. So she has a kid. Now that she has a kid, she has a baby. Maybe she'll calm down. Maybe she won't be as mean as she is. She might have gotten my swimmers. Yep, they have about 100 million of those in the banks. Let's see. If they come out look like you, Leon, then we'll know. Neil Campbell just used white sperm donor too. Oh, okay. Did she use a white? I think Ebony K made sure she got black sperm. She had to pay a premium for it. I think she got black sperm. Naomi Campbell lives in Great Britain, so she's a British citizen. So they don't look at race the same way we do. So her getting white sperm is no big deal. She could have got it for free. I don't know why she went to a sperm bank instead of getting it for free. Oh yeah, she knows, man. She knows she's insufferable, and she knows she'd be a curse as a husband, as a wife to anybody. So anyhow, let's go ahead and play this.
Guy, if you want to marry a Chinese girl, especially in one of China's first tier cities, unless you have a net worth of a minimum 300,000 US dollars, you can forget about it. And it is because of this China's birth rate is so low, and China's populations and economy is facing a total collapse. So I'll give you an example, okay? Things have totally changed. So my grandma was born in 1939. Her husband is 2 years older, and they got married in 1957. So my grandfather, this is on my mother's side, he must have caught something. I'm not sure exactly what his condition was, but something similar to polio. So he walks with a limp. Ever since his younger days, he always had to walk with a cane, and he never went to school. Has zero education. He can barely read or write. He's 5'4", right, and he's completely broke. Has no money at all. And my grandma married my grandfather as a 18-year-old virgin, and she gave birth to 5 children in total. Unfortunately, one died in infancy, and one died after suffering from a heart attack. But in the end, they stayed married together, and with their 3 remaining children. And they were both extremely poor. My grandma never had anything. She's tried many businesses in China. All of them ended in failure. And they've had to bounce around, working various really shit jobs for the equivalent of minimum wage. But they both got by. They stayed together until the end. Now imagine this today, even without my grandfather's leg condition. Let's say if you walk normally. So let's say today in Canada, you have a guy that's flipping burgers at McDonald's, making $16.50 an hour. He's 5'4". He has zero education. He's not attractive. And imagine this guy marrying an 18-year-old virgin, and this woman will submit to him. This woman will respect him, and this woman will have 3 children now with this guy, and they lived happily married after. Do you realize how ridiculous that sounds? Well, that's what the world is turning into. I honestly think that, third wave feminism, they have turned the women into gold diggers.
Hey, third wave feminism. This is in China. This is a very highly patriarchal society, right? This is not a liberal society like in the West, right? What did I say? Feminism is an effect and not a cause. Feminism is an effect, not a cause. As China becomes, well, they are first world, they are a first world country now, right? Guess what follows them? Quigley said this a long time ago. If you adopt all the tenets of Western civilization, I might do that video again, okay? If you adopt all, he has 7 tenets of Western civilization, right? If you adopt if you adopt 6 of them, you're going to actually, the 7th, which is Western ideology, will follow, okay? So China took all the material wealth and material benefits of Western civilization, right? And they try to keep their ideology, but guess what? You can't, because your ideology is based on your environment.
I've mentioned in the past that I'm a 31-year-old virgin. I've never been on a date.
Wow.
It has become impossible.
A 31-year-old virgin, hear that? Okay. Never been on a date. Okay. He would be classified as an incel. Okay. But you see Chinese men killing each other or killing society. So all that incel is dangerous shit is bullshit. Okay. It's all bullshit. And most cats in the States that are so-called incels are not incels. They're actually voluntary. Okay. This cat, because of the number of the large number of men there are, and how hard it is to get married or whatever it is in China, is he's an incel. Okay, he will be classified as an incel, even though they don't use that term.
For the average guy, I've discussed Japan's 80-50 crisis in their country, where it's estimated that between 70 to 80% of men are virgins into their 30s. That is the reality.
And basically, Japan is another one, right? Where they're still virgins. This is not unusual. Okay, this ain't unusual. We get grief for it here. It's because it's just not coming. And the reason that's the case is because of loose morals in the United States, right? So women are sexually free. So the number of men that are virgins are very low compared to the rest of the world, right? This is not unusual, right? But you don't see society collapsing because of that. Okay.
It's the same thing in South Korea. It is consistently ranked as one of the most depressing nations on earth, right up there with North Korea. We're talking about the capitalist, pro-Western South Korea. That's what the country is turning into, because it has become impossible for average men to find a match. So all of China's cities, they're being grouped into various tiers. Okay, I don't know how many tiers it goes down to, maybe like 6. So my hometown is considered a 4th tier city. So the mega cities, for example, in Beijing or Chongqing or Shanghai or Tianjin, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, those really mega cities, with 10, 15, 20 million people, those are tier 1 cities. Those are the most expensive city to live in. And for example, if you go to China, let's say you are a passport or something, and you want to marry a Chinese girl, this is the requirement. If you want to marry a girl from a 1st tier city, okay, well, the first thing they will ask you is that, what is your height? This is the same for any girl in the world. I'm standing here 5 feet 8 inches. For over 80% of the Chinese women, that is a no-go zone. Okay, every single one of them.
There are most likely the women are not having sex either. You got to remember, this is a very highly patriarchal in a very highly authoritarian society. They don't do shit like that over there. Okay, the women are probably virgins too, the ones that are not married. Okay, these are very highly traditional societies. Okay, they don't operate the way we operate. So they don't have bodies.
Has a high requirement, and the many Chinese girls, they want 180 centimeters, which is just under 5'11", and for Asian standard, that's very tall. So right off the bat, 80% of guys are gone. After that, they will ask you for a home. Okay, in China, it's typically a condo, and the average size is roughly 100 square meters, or that converts to 1,076 square feet. So even if you have a home, but if it's a really small one, if it's only 70 or 80 square meters, they think your home is too small. That is a no-go. After the house, they will ask you, what kind of car do you drive? And if you say, oh, maybe I have a Volkswagen, I have a Jetta, I have a Prius or Honda Civic, they say, no, not good enough. At least it has to be in class of something like a Toyota Camry, maybe a Honda Pilot, or a Mercedes and BMW. Then after that, they will ask you for a cash payment. I'm not making this up. This is called a caili, okay? So typically, for example, in my hometown of Jilin, China, which is a 4th-tier city, okay? Any average girl off the street, they will ask you for a cash payment of 200,000 renminbi, or this roughly translates to $30,000 US. $30,000 US. And remember, in China, they're making Chinese currency. They're not making US dollars. That is just any girl off the street. That's from a 4th-tier city. If you go to the mega cities like Beijing or Shanghai or Chongqing, typically the minimum they ask you for is somewhere around 500,000 renminbi or 70,000 US dollars. That is just a cash payment. You're also expected to spend minimum 3 months of your salary on a wedding ring. On top of that, you're expected to buy minimum 4 pieces of jewelry for this Chinese girl. I'm talking about earrings, necklace, purse. Okay, you're expected to give her 4 gifts on top of this wedding ring. On top of this, you're expected to pay for a dream wedding, right? A lot of these ladies are not okay with just going to the restaurant and to bring your families and friends over. No. They want the perfect, Hollywood movie dream wedding, and that can cost insane.
In other words, as the material advantage in a society, it gets higher. Guess what? The rates get higher, right? And women, I keep telling you, women are actually controlled by the environment. Okay, I've been saying this since I've been on here. I was saying this before I got on here. Women are actually controlled by the environment. I knew that back in the 80s with the crack era. Okay, that's when I realized that women are actually controlled by the environment. I saw the decline of the black female in Los Angeles during the crack era. In fact, if you really want a good peek into the crack era, what was going on, watch Snowfall. Okay, Snowfall. There's some embellishment, but the thing is, they pretty much describe what happened in the 80s and 90s in Los Angeles. Okay, women are controlled by the environment, so as the environment improves, they ask for more. Women, men are buyers, number one, and women acquire material for their nest, for their children. That's what they do. Whether it's genetic, like I said, the height requirement and all that kind of stuff, the looks requirement, that's genetics. Okay. The second is resources, which is money. And the third is intelligence. Okay. The fourth is personality, right? But the thing is, women collect things for their offspring. I've been saying that since I got here. Okay. What do? If you understand the nest, whether it's a bird, whether it's a chicken, you can understand a female. What is her unctor? What is her purpose? To acquire material, okay, resources and genetic for her offspring. To give her offspring the best chance in that environment. So whatever that environment calls for, that's what she's going to try to get. Okay? That's the quiet secret we don't like to talk about. Who really benefited from the drug gang? We know. Go read Dark Alliance by Gary Webb. They murked Gary Webb for that. Okay, we know who benefited from it. UK tech mogul Mike Lynch found out not guilty of defrauding Hewlett Packard Company into his for $11 billion. Okay, I don't even know who Mike Lynch is. Okay, men outnumber women in China. Women have the upper hand with the demands. But even at that, man, once a woman gets over 30, she can't get married. That's why I say women are like a natural capital limiter for human progression. Yes, they are, and that's nature. They're just not figuring that out.
Amount of money. And if you go to an expensive major city in China like Beijing, that could easily cost you 20,000 US dollars. You're expected to pay for this wedding in full. On top of that, you're expected to pay for the 1 month honeymoon in full. and they cannot just be a honeymoon of going to the countryside. She wants to go skiing in Vail, Colorado. She wants to go to Paris. She wants to go to London. She wants to go to Dubai, to go to the Maldives, and then you have to pay for everything in full. That is the expectation on a guy. We're truly living in the matriarchy. Our society has completely destroyed man. So I've said this many times.
Hey D, if you put some shit like this up in my panel again, I will block you. Okay. YouTube has an algorithm. You can't put shit up like that in my chat. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you on, but that kind of shit cannot fly in my chat. Okay. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Okay. Now I'm gonna remove this. Okay. The message is removed. Do that shit again, I'm gonna block you. Okay. Okay. I know you think it's funny, but it's not. Anyway, continuing.
Before. This is the reason why. So all of the women are matching with a very, very small percentage of guy. And all these women are complaining about, oh, this guy being toxic, this guy's an abuser, this guy's a cheater. Well, no shit. You're all matching with a very small percentage of man. For example, I have a lot of respect for someone like Jackie Chan, right? The movie star. I think he's an amazing person. But listen, Jackie Chan, he's a walking STD. He has a lot of issues in his personal and married life, okay? And it is a miracle that he's still married to his wife, but they're just married on paper. I can say with confidence that Jackie Chan's, his body count, he's probably slept with anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 women. That's where society is turning into. So the top 1% of men is sleeping around with all the women, while the average guy can't even find a date. And you wonder why the population is shrinking and the economy is shrinking. And also, guys, do not be fooled. Because I used to believe some of these girls, they talk about on social media, same thing with these Chinese women. They said that, oh, it's okay. If the guy's broke, I don't mind. I'll marry that guy. I'm going to submit to him. I'll be nice to him. It's okay if he doesn't have a house. We can rent. It's okay if he drives a Prius. It's okay if he doesn't have a BMW. And it's okay if he doesn't make 100,000 or 200,000.
You guys got wrenches. If you guys probably read more of the stuff than I do. Okay. If you need to get rid of him, go ahead. Okay.
They're all full of shit. They're just putting on a fake personality online in order to please people, in order to not receive backlash. Because I've tried to approach some of these women who say that, it's okay if you're broke. It's okay if you're not tall, right? It's okay if you don't have a Mercedes. And they just say that. But when you...
In other words, basically, and we're going to end it here, but he's saying the same exact shit that we're saying in America. 5 years ago, that did not exist in China. 5 years ago, that didn't exist in South Korea. Okay. Did not exist. As they prosper, you get this. Anyhow, gotta remember, if you remember nothing else about what I'm saying about this kind of stuff, right? The environment always controls the female behavior, right? And this is something I had to agree with Cerulean back in the back of the day, right? Okay, we came up with this, right? Black men oppose the environment, women nest in it. When men oppose the environment, they go out and they go against the environment to try to create something or make something new. Women nest in it. Whatever the environment is, that's what they will adhere to. The environment controls their behavior, their attitudes, and even what they want, right? So even in the United States, as the environment changes, the women will change. You cannot change. And this is something that the guy that actually coined the word black pill back in 2011, right? In Dalrock's chat in his comment section, right? He said, unless you can change the environment, you cannot change the woman. Okay, that is the black pill truth of mating and dating. The environment controls the woman's behavior. Now, somebody asked me something about have I talked about Clay Tevis comments? I have not. I didn't even know who Clay Tevis is. About the WNBA being a black lesbian league. It is a black lesbian league. It has been for a long time. From the very beginning, it's been a black lesbian league. That's nothing new. Okay. That's nothing new. It's been a black lesbian league. I mean, you don't have to listen to him. You should know that already. If you follow WNBA, you should know that already. That's the reason a lot of women didn't go into the WNBA is because it's a black lesbian league. Okay. So that in itself is not unusual. Okay. Influence creates chaos in the dating game. Is basically as with anything, any environment will change the rules about rules of engagement. Okay, economics, being online, yada yada yada. And the thing is that it takes time for the culture to catch up and rewrite the rules for whatever environment that they're in. The thing is that, and I've said this, right? The basically the people, culture, and environment are all three different separate things. Like 200, 300 years ago, the environment, the people, and the evolution of people were all in sync at one time, right? But as machines came in and energy came in, we were able to transform our environment. So your environment changes faster than the people, and the culture is nothing but the environment and people and biological people coming together to solve problems, right? So if your environment changes so fast, the people cannot change, so they have to adapt with culture to to the environment, right? So the thing is, it takes for complete cultural change, it takes about 100 years. And what if your environment is basically changing every 5 to 10 years? You can't keep up. So you're going to have all this chaos that you see right now. Okay. And the government is at a loss of how to correct this, man. They do basically, your population is going to collapse, and there's really nothing you can do about it because you can't control it. Once she joins a travel group and starts taking trips with strangers, she knows it's a game over for being someone's wife. Oh, well, that's true. 2009 study found that 63.18% of females and graduates who had sex reported having only one sexual partner. 2019, 41 of adults in China had only one sexual partner in their lifetime. That's pretty much true. Okay, and pretty much true. They haven't caught up yet, but they will. But they will. But got to remember, this is self-reported, and men and women lie about their sexual partners. Men tend to add, and women tend to subtract. So this means it's the fault of the elites who the betas at the top. Nope, it's not the fault. Basically, I mean, do you want to go back to the 1950s without internet, without local power? How far do you want to go back in time? Do you want to go way back to the 19th century or the 17th or the 18th century without running water and toilets? Okay, how far do you want to go back? Okay, if you want, because I'm sure you like the way you live. You live in a first world country. You like living in a first world country. You don't want to go back. Okay, you're not willing to change your environment. So that means you have to put up with what is. And basically, the elites know that too. Okay, they adapt. The Black Daddy Issues League. Okay, all right. So based on the man from China, we're in a catch-22 concerning women's aggregate, right? Yeah, we are. Doesn't matter that what seat you have on the planet, that it's in a death spiral. That is pretty much what's going on. Something they didn't predict. Well, they couldn't predict it because we've never been here before. And the environment is why you can't get a modern woman to come to start a countryside farm with you gents. It's very difficult. Okay. And hell, you can't get men to start a countryside farm. Okay, much less women. The only way to stabilize is to tilt the side towards men, and what the elites won't do, so we're cooked. They're trying to bribe women into having babies. That's what they're trying to do. And fuck that, I want my air conditioning. It's too hot here. That's true. Correction, women divide the number of their body count, not subtract. Well, you're going to have to do some kind of a scientific survey on that, Don, because that's your area of expertise. Let me see if I can find it. Somebody sent some. I know where it is. I gotta find it in my Patreon because that's where somebody sent it to me. Okay. Because I talked about this, and this is about 10 minutes also. Okay. You have to use an artificial womb like the Krypton and Man of Steel. That is the next step. Okay. I would go back to hunter gatherers. I don't think so. Everybody says that most people, unless you've done it, because if that was the case, you'd move down there because you can go. All you have to do is get a ticket, man. You go back down there. Don't even need a visa, man. You go back there in the middle of the woods and run around. They're not gonna come look for you. You really don't need a ticket. Okay, you can go in the woods and be hunter gatherer. What basically numbers and numbers is just the way you add them up. Anyhow, let me go ahead and play this. Okay. Now, Calypso will tell you that the artificial womb is already here. They just haven't implemented it yet. Artificial womb is already here, but this is the this is the I think it's what is Bloomberg, okay, TV. The danger of global population peak, right? And I showed this during the ROM seminar. Okay, that's part of it. Did they not make it illegal to live off the land? BGS? Yeah, no, they didn't. If you guaranteed, man, you pick any forest, go out in the middle of it, away from civilization, they're not going to come look for you. There's too many guys that actually do that. Okay, they don't come look for these people. They're not going to tear your shit down. They're going to leave you alone. Okay, as long as you're not burning shit down or fucking with anybody. Women square root their body count also. You guys say shit. If you were an emperor, how would you sell women on baby production? You can't. Okay? You can't. And the only way you can do it, you have to completely take away all privileges of females. Literally have to take away all privileges of females. And that's a tough ask because within a generation, they done do it anyway. Have you heard of the anti-natalists? Yes, I have. In fact, I think there's a couple that have a YouTube channel that are anti-natalists. What in here? Let me go ahead and play this. Nivramo, I can't pronounce that. How do you go about joining your Patreon? It's actually in the link of any video. You can hit the link; it'll take you right there. Maggie, from a Gnostic perspective, what are your thoughts on people who have no internal dialogue or visual imagination? There is something psychologically wrong with them. It's almost impossible not to have internal dialogue or visual imagination, right? Because, in other words, you have to dream. If you dream, you got internal dialogue and visual imagination, okay? Now, are you on drugs or there's something blocking it? If you don't have no internal dialogue or visual imagination, then there's something either physically wrong with your brain or there's something incredibly wrong with you, okay? Very few people have that. I have never heard of anybody that doesn't have it, okay? So if you're an anomaly if you don't have it. It's almost virtually impossible not to have an inner voice. So if somebody didn't have an inner voice or internal dialogue or something like that, I'd be very cautious of being around them. But this is the danger of global population peak.
Wrote a short while ago a piece for Bloomberg Opinion on the peaking of the global population and the consequence of that. I have heard from various people in and around Wall Street that has been a very influential piece. People are very concerned about that over the long run. First of all, give us the facts of where we think we are now, where we're headed in terms of population growth.
Well, David, when you and I were young, the world worried about a population bomb. There was going to be a Malthusian crisis named after the great 18th century political economist Thomas Malthus, where overpopulation would lead to famine and disaster. And it was those ideas back in the 60s and 70s that led to some pretty drastic population policies, not least the one-child policy in China. Well, fast forward to the 2020s, and it turns out that the law of unintended consequences has struck again. And we now are facing significant population declines, not only in Asian countries that drastically reduced family size, but right across the globe, except in Africa. And it looks as if, although you can debate the exact timing, humanity will peak in the 2060s. We'll get to the maximum population probably some way below the 10 billion mark.
And then basically, and that's an estimate. And their estimates have been off. So it might even be sooner than that. How would they act if government started drafting single childless women for World War III? I don't know. That's a good question. They don't know. I don't think it would change that much. If you have World War III, then drafting people is not going to do any good. And most of World War III is going to be fought with drones. Okay, putting body. The Ukrainians have taught you that putting bodies on the ground is not as effective as you think it is. At least not anymore. It's a newly studied way more people than think. It's weird to me too. Maggie, what they're going to have to do with these people is run brain scans to see if there's anomalies in their brains. Okay, I mean, is it a lot of people? Is it what percentage would you say of people that are walking around with no internal dialogue? Okay, because they really have to be like almost like on a severe autistic spectrum that not to have that. They're almost like machines. European Central Bank joined the Bank of Canada in initiating an interest rate cut. Do you think the Feds will seek out assistances? I don't think the Fed will do it. Okay, the Fed probably won't do it is because the currency is under pressure. It's going to be very hard for the Fed to actually drop interest rates. Okay. BGS, are you cool with Jason Black? I don't have any issues with Jason Black. I know he probably doesn't particularly like me, but I don't have no issues with him. Why? Why you guys ask me about other people? Okay. Am I cool with Jason Black? Why do you want to know? Daniel Suarez kill decision. Oh yeah, basically, if you go read Daniel Suarez kill decision, a lot of that shit he was talking about has come to light. In fact, if read Daniel Suarez earlier books, like his first 4 books, okay, a lot of this shit is already here. I would say if you study these people, I would be doing brain scans to see if there's something that's it's something that's physical, because that's really unusual how your brain is wired. It's almost impossible not to have it. Oh, or they can't access it. There might be they can't access it. Would aerospace engineering for a declared major be good if the way we do warfare has changed? Aerospace engineering is good because guess what? You got drones, missiles, and drones, all that kind of stuff, right? Any engineer, maybe engineers are at a premium right now because they don't train enough of them. Right on 4% of populace lacks inner dialogue and visual imagination. So what are the effects of it? That means it's biological, it's physical. It's 4%. Have I heard the 50 Council of National Defense? No. Title 50? No, I haven't heard of that one.
And after that, population is going to decline, and decline pretty steeply. This is most easy to illustrate with the case of China, where the population is forecast to decline by half, by 50% between now and the end of the century. But it's not just a Chinese story. Ultimately, it's a global story. And this is one of these trends that I think most people haven't fully grasped, because it's just a little bit out of the average person's planning horizon, the 2060s.
So what happened? Why is it that we have, in fact, the fertility rates going down the way they are in so many countries around the world?
Well, that's not the easiest question I've been asked today, because explaining why in all kinds of different contexts, couples have chosen to reduce the number of children that they have below the replacement rate. Now, it's typically said that the average couple has to have 2.1 children. Yes, I know there's no such thing as 0.1 of a child, but just above 2 for us to maintain population, because obviously there are some people who die prematurely, perhaps even in childhood. So the replacement rate's 2.1 per couple, but all over the world, couples have taken that number down below 2. Indeed, in countries like South Korea, the fertility rate is below 1 on average. And so the one-child family has become pretty much the norm in East Asia, and it's rapidly spreading around the world. Population in the United States has continued to grow only because of immigration. It's not because of natural increase.
He's saying the exact same thing I've been telling you guys for the last 2 years, okay? The exact same shit, okay? Then now they have to admit it. That's the only thing. They have to admit it now. So, this is what's going on. This is what's going on in China, what's going on in Latin America, this is what's going on in Europe, what's going on in the United States, right? How to fix this problem, okay? How to fix this problem. I may go, I did this with when I did Quigley, Tragedy, and Hope about why this is important. I may do it again. But things I've said, I talked about this, God, 2012, 2013. I talked about this like 10, 11 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, about why this is important. And they talk around it. Why they're importing people. He just told you why they're importing people, right? Because you would have population collapse, especially for white people. Okay, white people have been well below replacement for since 1972 or so. There's not enough white people. They used to be like 90% of the population. Okay, 85, 90% of the population. They're down to 60. They're by the end of the I think by the end of the decade they're predicted to be below 50. Okay, if it wasn't for old people still being alive, they'd have collapsed already. But so there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Anyhow, let me answer some questions. We have a lot of questions today. What do you think about REITs? REITs, they have to collapse REITs because you have to do one or two things. They have to build more housing, or you're going to have to get rid of the REITs, because the REITs have caused the increase in rents and mortgage prices, because they got to get rid of them. Influx is a very good book. Oh, okay. You're talking about that. We need more Nick Cannon. That's not going to do any good, because a population is determined by how many babies the woman has, not the man. Men don't have babies. Women do. Women are the limiting factor in any population. So Nick Cannon can have 15 kids, but the thing is, if all the women only have his kid, it doesn't help you. Nature finds a way. Nature it'll stabilize at some point. Okay. To have this many human beings on the planet is an anomaly. Okay. It's an anomaly. We're finding out how big of an anomaly it actually is, because it's going to reverse itself. As fast as it rose, it's going to collapse. Okay. This last 200 years is an anomaly. That's what he's trying to tell you. If you, I don't have the chart in front of me, but even he said the same thing, right, in his charts. I don't know that we as men have any control. No, we don't. Hell, the government doesn't have any control over this. Okay, unless you tie them down and force them to have babies. I don't think we're there yet. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. They got wombs. They got artificial wombs. Okay, they can grow babies. They don't even need eggs. They can actually make artificial eggs and artificial sperm. Okay, they can do this on their own. So as far as them stabilizing the population, they can do this on their own. The fact is, how do you stabilize the population in a short term? This is a short-term problem. They're counting white Latinos. Well, they will. But the thing is, that's why they're importing people. Nope, it's not. They don't need that. That's what they're finding out. Okay. It's not. It's not. That's what they found out. It has nothing to do with them. In fact, they're trying to do the opposite. If you guys, if the thing is, you guys got to read and study. You just can't go by by conspiracy. Okay, if you're gonna be a conspiracy theorist like I was for a very long time, you're gonna have to read more deeply. The system was put in place in the 1950s, early 1970 years ago. I remember China opened up under Deng. Yeah, yep. Drop it in late. Okay. 40 million people were born in China because of the one-child policy, fear of over. Yep, but now it's they were wrong because that's what they thought in the 70s. Now they're wrong. What could be the Earth doesn't need us. We need the Earth. Then the Earth doesn't need us. What are second-order effects of population collapse? Second-order effects in immediate or long term. Yeah, well, I've been telling you guys that. He's saying the same thing that we ain't get into conspiracy, but it's called COVID-19. Government has no hand in controlling AI. I mean, zero. You can make eggs from induced, pluripotent stem cells, but I don't think they've succeeded in making art. Actually, they have. Go look it up. They actually do. They actually have. What do you think of AMD, the new AI chip? It has to be studied. I don't think they've released it yet. So an AI is a program. Okay. The thing is, does it have enough horsepower to run the AI properly? That's the only thing. AI is not it's not a machine. It's a program. And most of the AI works better on distributed chips like NVIDIA. It'll probably take at least a century or two for the population to fall back to. Nope, it's going to take less than that. You'll be under 5 billion, right around I say 2070 or so, maybe 2080, because the fall is pretty rapid. Mr. Jody says, "What are your thoughts about Peter Zehan? It seems he's wrong on some things. I don't know what things he's wrong on because I don't really follow Peter too much. Peter's wrong too much. I don't really follow him. Until it's catching up, they were 140 core CPU with a GDP of 250. It's going to take them a while. Basically, they're almost at the end of the cycle because Intel has to get to 2 nanometers, and they're not there yet. So, and the only reason they're using IBM technology and AMD technology anyway. So it's not just them. The thing is, they have to be able to build it. It's called chip manufacturing. They have the tech because first it was Trump and then it was Biden. They forced IBM and AMD to work with Intel along with Microsoft. Okay, he forced them to do it. So, and this is before he got into office. So it's not just Intel. Intel has to be able to build the chips or make the chips. That's the problem they have. They don't have a way to actually build these chips in the right fab. That's the problem that they're having. Peter seems to like he tells you the West would like to happen versus what actually is happening. I have no idea what he said. So overshoots on many subjects. I like his demographic and energy talks. I don't follow him because he pretty much repeats what everybody else is saying. And normally he's like maybe months behind, sometimes years behind. President Vladimir Putin wants every Russian woman to have at least 8 or more 9 children, support the decline of. That's not going to happen. In fact, they've tried it in Russia. They've tried it in Hungary. They've tried it a few other places. Hell, they're trying in Korea and China. Okay, shit doesn't work. How many do you think that almost every country will have a 5 to 14% black population like the UK and the US? Every country? No. So MDK is only having one child is still a problem in the long run. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't have to tell you. The guy just told you. I ain't got to tell you. Just heard what he said. Will a war or wars be the major cause of world population decrease? No, they don't need that. It's going to do it. The biggest population decrease will be the women not having babies. It's not that hard. And as you and I think I had a chart. I don't think if I could find it, said the what is it? As you increase in material wealth, the fertility rate goes down. See if I have it. I don't think I have it, but we can look for it. Nope, I ain't got it. I put it in a folder. I don't know where it is. I put it in a folder. I just don't know where it is. In fact, if you look up the guy's name and you look up his Bloomberg article, he actually has all the little charts in there about it. So Ebony bought 2 vials though. So no, she said it was one of one. She's only gonna have one. That's why she said she's gonna call her one of one. Oh, we're at an hour. Yeah, she did replace herself. She don't want to be alone. She's a lonely chick, man. That's one lonely woman. And she knows. Ebony K. Williams knows that she's mean, she's insufferable, and she knows she can't get along with anybody, much less a guy. Do you think the planet is alive and self-aware and is actually responsible for the depopulation of human beings? Because it seems it's as a possible that no. It is. Is it alive? Yes, it's a living Earth, just like any other living thing. But the thing is that I think that they believe that this is a trigger, a biological trigger inside um, organisms, especially mammals, because that's why the Mouse Utopia was such a great study. It is because once you reach a peak, it's going to self-decline, but nobody knows why. Okay, they don't know why it declines. It just does. Real estate investors wiped out, made big purchases that are unraveling with high interest rates, adding distress to an already troubled U.S. property market. It's got to basically they've kept this shit afloat, man, for 15 years. It's got to come down. It should have self-corrected under the Obama administration. They were trying to get it to self-correct, okay? But greed kept the stuff afloat. The banks did not want to take their hit, okay? So they kept the shit afloat. At some point, there's no more road. And you reach that road, you got the congressman said you got 5 years to actually figure this shit out before the whole thing implodes. Hard buck, you're late. David Titus, the U.S. is letting a bunch of illegals. It can't stop. Destiny will only. Well, they got to slow it down. They know it's not going to stop. But the thing is that one does not want to be in a country that is collapsing in population. Okay. You have to understand their reasoning. If you study it, you'll understand why they do certain things. The thing is, you guys fire off opinions. You got to study why they do so. I've been telling you why they do things for like 10 years. Okay. It's like I don't talk about it anymore. The thing is, I've been telling you this shit was coming for the last 10 years. Shit's here now. It's here now. Alan Greenspan said, effectively, the United States can never go bankrupt because it prints its own. Every country can go bankrupt. Okay, that's bullshit. You can't go bankrupt because the world does not have to accept your money. Remember, Goldman Sachs chose candidate Barack Obama was picked by Goldman Sachs. He won. Actually, no. Actually, it wasn't Goldman Sachs. It was actually the G20 actually picked Obama because they didn't trust the white folks. Okay, the G20 actually picked Obama. Obama was picked basically by the Chinese consensus. So the what we call the BRICS. Okay, they're the ones that actually picked Obama. Goldman Sachs was trying to patch things up. Goldman Sachs had to make concessions to uh, uh, to to the rest of the world. Do you think Saudi Arabia and the U.S. will end the petrodollar agreement? It is already ended for the most part because I think it was Saudi Arabia maybe 3-4 years ago said they were going to accept a basket of currency. So the old petrodollar agreement is already gone. I see a lot of guys in the white red pill space talking about DEI. Do you think if shit hits the fan, they will turn violent against black men instead of the feminists? Turn violent against black men for what? That's not going to help them. The thing is, you will see what happened in what is it, Charlottesville? Okay, they're going to go against their own government. January 6th, they weren't looking for black people during January 6th. They're actually going against their own government because that's where the problem is. Black folks have nothing to do with this. Black folks can't help them. What, they're going to go to the ghetto, to the projects, and burn it down? Think that's going to help them? It's not going to help them. What happened to Zero from Bernard Riley? I have no idea. You got to go over there and ask him. Why you guys ask me about somebody else's channel, man? I've seen headlines from some folks that if Trump is jailed or prevented from election, it'll be a race war. Why a race war to do what? Okay, we didn't put him in jail. What is a race war going to solve? What's the race war going to solve? Okay, it's not going to solve shit. You don't have enough people. You don't have enough working people as it is. It's going to make your problem worse. I remember Saddam Hussein said he would accept euros for his oil. In 2003, the U.S. declared him to be the axis of evil, along with Iran. He said that in 1989, not 2003, which is the first Iraq war. Okay, the stuff I see, white people have no. White people, for the most part, especially the right wing white folks in there, don't even talk about us because we ain't the problem. And the U.S. backed the Iraqi regime by installing him in 1970 Jimmy Carter. Yeah, they actually wanted them to go up against the Iranians. That's why. I've heard Japan is not friendly to outsiders. Period. They're not, but they have to get friendly because actually they have changed their minds because one, they're more global. Two, they need people. There's towns in Japan where there are no people. Okay, on the countryside. And everyone said why white dudes clamor for race war so much and accuse of others trying to start with. Basically, there's not going to be one. Okay, ain't gonna be no race war. For what? Everybody here talking to, just like the chick that was in was it Michigan where they tried to kidnap the governor, had nothing to do with us. They know what the problem is. The problem's not us. We had nothing to do with their women taking their jobs. Okay. They call us mud sharks for taking their women. Lots of snow gnats, white nationalists worried about ethnic taking their Beckys. Okay. That's the problem they have to have with their women. Hot world would be demographic nightmare for every country, not in Africa. Yeah. You hear a funny story about the Japanese one? Yeah, that's not true. You know, Passport OG's in Japan, so you can ask him. Where you guys get this shit from, man? Random question: are the WNBA chicks really stupid for attacking their betting horse? Yes, they are. Or are they so comfortable with receiving low paychecks? Women are emotional; they're not logical. It looks to me like some folks are so mad about the current situation with feminists and the woke left, but the obsession with BBC remains. Go figure. Uh, all men, okay, all men across the globe do not like uh, African American men fucking with their women. Okay, all over the globe, they have issues with that. Why? Because um, black men have been trained to serve their women. You're not going to get that in any other society. We're the only group of men that are trained to cater and serve their women. And women are not used to that. So when they get a taste of it, they don't want to go back. It's like on the white women jumping, without restrictions, they jump in ship. Hey, I get a better deal with black men. I get a much better deal with black men. That's why they jump in ship, especially as they get more educated. They're jumping ship and considering black men. Because we already been socialized, and what they're trying to make white men and Asian men and Latino men into something that black men already are. In fact, uh, my son has never dated. The only black one he's ever dated is the one, his first wife. She was mixed. He has never dated a pure black woman in his life, ever. In fact, I think the girl he took to prom, I think she was Asian. Yeah, they've come a long way. But the thing is, demographics is destiny. Yeah, Afro national is much more tolerant of foreigners than before, and basically, Japan has never been, um, to my knowledge, have never been antagonistic toward black men, even the black GIs. They've never been antagonistic toward them. Same thing in Korea. Black Latino men will never fold or fold. I have no idea what that means. When you say Latino has like 20 or 30 different cultures. My son and both names took Latino girls to their prom. Yep, it is what it is. If the world manages to get USA back down from, they've done it already. They've done it like 3 times already. What do you mean back down? They've already done it 3 times. You can't have a dictatorship. You have to have a culture that's willing to accept it. You cannot get a dictatorship in the United States because your culture will not accept it. That will start a civil war. In fact, the first civil war was started over shit just like that, right? States' rights do mean something. You try to impose a dictatorship, you're going to break up the country, guaranteed. That's why it won't work here. Most whites are concerned with SUVs, flat screens, etc. to engage in some ways. Not really. I couldn't find Zero's channel, so I can't ask him. I don't know, man. Ask Edward. Edward, go ask Edward. Edward would know. Edward knows Zero. Edward probably has Zero's phone number. So go to Edward's channel and ask him. Y'all keep asking me shit. I keep telling you I don't know. They already have. What do you mean, fold the feminists? They already have. They already have. Why do you think the female population? Latinos will never fold the feminism. Lithium. Who's the president of Mexico right now? Who's the president of Mexico? Who's the president of Mexico? Lithium. Is hedonism an effect of neoliberalism? No. Hedonism is caused by the decay of society. Some economists believe gold will reach 5,000 per ounce. Thoughts? Gold is a measure of how your currency is doing. Okay, so if gold reaches $5,000 an ounce, then you're gonna have serious issues in the United States. You better hope that it doesn't happen. A Jewish lady. Oh, really? Sounds like feminism to me, sir. But they're not going to accept feminism. No, the Latinos would never accept bullshit. Okay. Yeah. A left wing feminist for president. Okay. I don't think Mexico's birth rate's that high. I really don't. The kid is a country wash AR9s. Good luck. Yeah. It's not gonna happen. Lithium, it got me. But you supposed to know this shit, sir. If you make bold claims, that means you know something, right? You think we end up as one race? Yeah. Uh, what admixture is normal, right? If you go back and look at history of any Asian country, any European country, right? Groups had to come together. Okay, groups had to come together and form uh, what they call a monoculture. Yep, a small hat. Yep, small hat feminist. All right, Black. I saw it the first time, man. I saw it the first time. Rothschild must have them by cojones. Nope, it's not that. This is more Soros than is Rothschilds. Okay, this is this is I think they're trying to combat China from making more inroads into Mexico. I think that's what this is. More closely aligned with Soros and American bankers than it probably is Rothschilds. So I think it's more about Soros. But which wave of feminism, BG, have you? What wave do you see? What are the Chinese guys? Third wave feminism, right? That's the wave that's happening right now. Anyhow, last question, then I got to get out of here and make room for. In fact, he's probably already on. Art's probably already on. Let me go ahead and put Art's channel into the chat and give him a handoff. Okay. Oh, he's got 8 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna give him a handoff. Share screen. Friday night touch-ups. He's the next person up. I'm gonna get something to eat. I might be over there later. And we are going to jump out in a minute. Okay, Jerry Rodriguez, I'm new to your channel. I'm loving it so far. If possible, can you connect me to the tech guy you recommended if you wanted to get into that field? Okay, if Ninja person is in the chat, he can give you all the information because I don't have it on me. Okay, if one of Theo's guys are actually in the chat, you can post whatever information. The world is doomed. Okay. Oh, okay. If you believe that. Yeah. Well, the Western world is doomed. So really, it's just a handover, man. The race pill is unavoidable, and genetic determinism will always win. That's why Hispanics and Mexicans have you said 20 different cultures. I don't know. The race pill is unavoidable. I don't know what that means, man. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. Okay. Your societal collapse and your collapse of population have nothing to do with race. Okay, this is a global thing. It's environment. The only thing is you guys started this culture first, this Western culture first, so you guys are gonna collapse first. So that's all it means. Okay. That's all it means. You can't stop that shit. I don't care what you unless you're gonna blow up the entire world, do it faster, but you can't stop this. You're gonna get your usual Guatemalan cassette. I might, yeah. It's Friday is you don't? Okay. Uh, all right, there it goes. Ninja person, they're probably studying, but if Ninja person or thank you, Titan Blooded, for the taco tax. Iran already, all they're doing is announcing it, okay? All they're doing is announcing it. They already have the shit, okay? They're just telling you that they have. The Houthis been had hypersonics. Iran been had hypersonics like 4 or 5 years ago, okay? They already have it. All they're doing is announcing it. He probably will. Basically, yeah. Basically, if Ninja Person is, you have to come back like next week when Ninja Person is going to be here. He can actually give you the information. In fact, you can go to I actually did a interview with Theo, um, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Go to look. That the information might be on there too. Anyhow, y'all. Okay. All right, Terrell. Terrell's got his info. I think Theo wants you to go to his Facebook page. I think that's where they're steering people to. So if you got the email, you got the Facebook address for Theo, I think that's where they wanted you to steer him to. Because I don't particularly like giving out people's emails. So, but it's up there. So grab if you put the email up, so grab it right now because I'm yeah. Okay. There's the link. Terrell says email him. Okay. All right. Grab the email because I'm gonna delete it after in about a minute or so. Because I don't have permission to put his email up. So Terrell, you better grab it now. I mean, what's his name? You better grab it now because Terrell put it up. So I'm going to delete it in a couple of minutes. I need to come to the okay. All right, folks. They doesn't mind. Okay, all right. Okay, doesn't mind getting emails. Yeah, I don't like giving people's emails out if I can possibly help it. Okay. All right, folks. Let me let me take us out, and we're gonna go on to the next time. Right to the next show. Put Art New Styles show in the chat, and that's where everybody's headed next. So, till next time, folks.